Hello everyone, my name is BJ there. I am from CSIT. Today my topic is analysis of malware application based on massive network trafficking from the subject's computer network. Introduction. Malware is a software or computer program that is used to carry out malicious activity. Malware is made with the aim of harming users' device because it can change users' data, user bandwidth and other resources without users' permission. Some research has been done before to identify the type of malware and its effects, but previous research only focused on grouping the types of malware that attack via network traffic. This research analyzes the impact of malware on network traffic using behavior based detection techniques. This technique analyzes malware by malware samples into an environment and monitoring the activities caused by malware samples. To obtain accurate results, the analysis is carried out by retrieving API call network information and network traffic activities. From the analysis of the malware API call network, information is generated about the order of the API call network used by malware. Using the network traffic, obtain malware activities by analyzing the behavior of network traffic malware payload and throughput of infected traffic. Furthermore, the results of the API call network sequence used by malware and the results of the network traffic analysis are analyzed so that the impact of malware on network traffic can be determined. In the era of IoT, Internet of Things, one of the biggest threats on the internet today is malicious software, usually called malware because almost all of the main causes of internet security problems are malware. Malware is a program that was created with the intention of damaging it by breaking into a computer system, as we just read. Malware has various types, namely virus, worms, spyware, adware, trojans, keyloggers, rootkits, bootnets, and phishing. Malware can be spread using various attack vector, including website and USB flash drive. One example of malware is botnet. Botnet is usually used to send spam and phishing host websites that make it difficult to track and blacklist. In addition to botnets, malware that is often used to infiltrate a system is spyware. According to the statistical data, 70 to 80% of spyware comes from websites that are considered safe by internet users. There are a lot of threats against network traffic, including droppings, IP poisoning, ARP cache poisoning, and malicious network traffic containing malware and virus. Dynamic analysis usually analyzes malware behavior such as network activity, API calls, file operations, and registry modifications. Records by executing samples in a virtual environment. The disadvantage of dynamic analysis is that this method requires a lot of time and resources for executing malware. Malware or malicious software is a software that is made to attack by damaging, disturbing, retrieving important information that involves the confidentiality, integrity, and availability of data of a system or application. Malware is software that is explicitly designed to perform malicious activities such as virus and exploit. The way malware works is by entering into a system such as an existing computer system through various applications that exist on the system, or it can also be through sending data from a device that has been exposed to a virus. Malware can be divided into several types according to the method of operation and its characteristics along with the type of malware. Logic bomb malware that has two core parts, namely contents and triggers. The type of malware will be active if the trigger is run. Similar to the time bombs, logic bombs can be active for a certain period of time. Trojan horse, a program that looks harmless but secretly runs malicious tasks. For example, when the user wants to do login to a website by entering a username and password, but the website is already installed program password grabbing. The role of the Trojan horse is displaying a message error that states that the user entered your username and password, but behind the process that the Trojan horse is already taking the information user authentication. Backdoor. A mechanism that goes through security standard inspection process such as authentication. Virus. A malware that will multiply itself by infecting other programs that are running. Worm. Malware that is similar to a virus that can copy itself. Difference is that worm can copy itself from one system to another over a network and does not depend on executable programs. Rabbit. A program that uses all resources on a system. An example is a fork bomb which always makes a new process repeatedly with an infinite number of loops so that makes the system slow. Spyware, a program that takes a computer's information and sends it to other people. Adware, a program similar to spyware but the focus is marketing advertisement. Zombies, a term of a computer that has been attacked or hacked without the user's knowledge. Usually, the activity carried out is to spread spam email. Behavior based technique is of the dynamic analysis method whose purpose is to determine the behavior of malware. This technique is carried out by executing malware and monitoring its behavior in network activity, API calls, file operations, and registry modification notes. The drawback of this technique is that it takes resources and time for many, while the advantages of this technique is able to identify or introduction of new malware. Behavior based technique has several advantages and disadvantages. The following are advantages and disadvantages of behavior based technique. Disadvantages are detecting malware behavior is complex because this technique detects malware from behavior to the final destination of malware. Can identify new malware. Can identify a lot of malware with less time compared to other techniques. Simplify the classifications of malware because it uses several tools to automate detection. On another hand, the disadvantage of behavior based technique are does not detect in detail such as checking for signatures and bit of malware. Couldn't find a malware solution. It consumes a lot of resources because this detection has to run malware directly in an environment. Malware analysis tools PStudio, Process Hacker, Procmon, Procdot, Autorun, Fiddler, Wireshark, X64DBG, Hydra, Radar 2, and Sandbox. What is payload is in security testing? In the world of malware, the term payload is used to describe what a virus, worm, or trojan is designed to do on victim's computer. For example, payload of malicious program includes damage to data, theft of confidential information, and damage to a program-based systems or processes. The payload of an API is the data you are interested in transporting to the server when you make an API request. Simply put, it is the body of your HTTP request and response message. In computer networks, communication consists of sending and receiving messages. The sender must correctly address the message while the receiver must have all the required resources to process the message. We have determined that payload is an API is used in the context of message to distinguish from overhead data. The overhead data is required to correctly interpret the request. With this information, you now have a better understanding of how messages are transmitted in the computer networks using a payload in an API. Results and discussion. Testing is conducted through network API analysis and network traffic. The first test was performed with the Cuckoo sandbox that was installed on VMware. Using Cuckoo, information about all network APIs used by malware is obtained. The next test is testing using Wireshark. Wireshark is network traffic analysis tool intended to monitor network trafficking. This test aims to obtain the activity carried out by malware on network traffic so that it can be seen how the behavior of malware payload and its impact on network traffic. In this test, the analysis carried out is divided into three parts, namely the analysis of network traffic to determine the behavior of malware, analysis of the payload to determine the activities carried out, and analysis of throughput in measurement to determine its impact on network traffic. Conclusion. Based on the results of the analysis of the impact of malware on network traffic using behavior based detection techniques that have been done, the following conclusions are obtained. Analysis of the impact of malware on network traffic using behavior based detection techniques can be done by looking at the behavior of malware through its activity. The malware activity can be known by arranging the network API sequences used by malware analysis network traffic that has been infected with malware. Malware activity can be identified by looking at the network API sequences used by malware. This sequence can be grouped by looking at the task ID of each process that is running. In the process requires several network API functions so that the activity cannot be determined by only identifying each network API. Malware activity can be determined through analysis of network traffic such as payload analysis, bandwidth usage, and malware network behavior. Payload analysis aims to see the activity of a malware by checking the functions or behaviors shown during test. Throughput analysis aims to examine the impact of malware on network traffic, while the analysis of malware network behavior aims to detect whether the sample can be categorized as malware or not. Thank you.